Hey, hi everyone. Good afternoon. So the time now is 12:30, so we can actually get started with our session today. So thank you everyone for being on time, and I saw some of y'all actually joined us way earlier as well. So thank you so much for being on time. So just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Vainu, and I'm here representing Health Promotion Board, and I'm a nutritionist as well. So today's session, we will be looking at how you can actually eat healthier and how healthier eating always begins with you. Okay, you take in charge of what enters your body, how you nourish your body. Okay, so as much as possible, I would like to keep today's session as interactive. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave your questions or any sort of responses in the chat box, and I will definitely get back to them in between the session or at the end of the session. And if any questions are posted out, I would actually appreciate if you can actually share with me your responses in the chat box as well. So please excuse me if I'm looking away because I have another device set up here as well to actually look at your responses. Okay, so just a quick thumbs up if you're able to see my slides clearly and also hear me well and loud and clear. Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, can. Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, so just a quick question. Okay, when I talk about or when I say healthier eating, what is the first thing that actually comes to all of your mind? No right or wrong answers. You can just put in your responses in the chat box. When I mention healthier eating, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Anyone? I have Eddie who direct message me chicken breast. Okay, okay, chicken breast. Anyone else? I think the screen itself shows, right? Some fruits and vegetables as well. Salad, yeah. Jamila actually direct messaged me to say salad, yeah. Anyone else? Don't be shy. You guys can actually drop your responses in the chat box openly. Let's all learn together today. Brown rice, okay. Thank you, Chang April. Okay, yeah. So more or less, you guys know about there's like brown rice. There's it's your salad, which is usually filled with your vegetables and sometimes even fruits. So more or less, you guys know that healthier eating includes very nutrient dense foods, right? So when we are talking about healthy eating, I would also like to introduce you all to this concept of my healthy plate. So, can I just check if this is familiar to you guys? Have you guys seen this my healthy plate before? Yes. Yes. Is this a new thing to many of you here, or have you all seen this before? Be it in health promotion, board advertisements, or anything of that sort? Yes, seen before. Okay, yeah. So, very good. I think most of us will actually know about this. Okay, we will usually be able to see this even at our regular hawker centers, our coffee shops as well, because we have a lot of healthier dining partners as well. Okay, so when we speak about my healthy plate, this is actually a very easy visual guide that you can actually use as a reference and also as a guide to actually start your journey on eating healthily. Okay, so when we speak about my healthy plate, this entirely refers to your main food groups like your whole grains, your proteins, and as well as your fruits and vegetables. Okay, so when we talk about whole grains, we talk about filling a quarter of your plate with whole grains like your brown rice and wholemeal bread, and another quarter of your plate with protein sources like your fish, your chicken, and for vegetarians or vegans, even tofu or tempeh sometimes. And it's not just limited to your meat and poultry or shellfishes, but also other items or calcium-rich items like your cheese, your milk. All of these will also fall under meat and others. And filling up another half of your plate with fruits and vegetables. Okay, so when we talk about my healthy plate, for adults, something that you can take note of is a recommended size of a plate would be about 10 inches. Okay, and if you are someone who has children at home who are below 6 years old, then you can take note that their plate size would be about 8 inches. So it's slightly smaller. Okay, so when we talk about whole grains, besides just brown rice and wholemeal bread, what are other items that you know of that can actually fall under this first quarter of whole grains? Anyone? Just want to see your understanding. So besides brown rice and wholemeal bread, what other items do you think will fall under your whole grains category? Anyone? You can feel free to unmute to speak as well if you'd like to. I see oats and quinoa. Yeah. Okay. How about your pastas and bihun? Anyone? Do you think any of your pastas or bihun will fall under whole grains? If you're someone who doesn't really like rice, but you prefer your bihun, your pasta, or westernized food, do you think any of those items will fall under this category? Vivian or Viv, I guess. You mentioned about must be wholemeal choice. Yeah. Okay, so wholemeal choice would be, I'm assuming you're talking about pasta. Okay, so wholemeal pasta, yes, it will also fall under this first quarter. Okay, and for your bihun, for those of you who are not aware, we also have a lot of options out there in the market that is known as like brown rice vermicelli. Okay, you can actually go for that instead of your regular white bihun. And usually, if you see these products will come with this triangle called healthier choice symbol, which I will actually be also touching on that a bit later on at today's session. Okay, so that is the main concept of my healthy plate. Okay, and when we are talking about my healthy plate, or eating healthily, we are looking at eating for our health. Okay, for good health. So when we are talking about eating for health, we actually refer to maintaining a healthier and balanced diet, which is very, very important. And when we are talking about having a balanced diet, there comes your variety of foods and also ensuring you eat them in moderation. Okay, so when we talk about moderation, then we also talk about the quantity and also the quality of food. Okay, have a variety of food, but have nutrient dense foods. So what do we mean by nutrient dense foods? Are foods that are actually high in your vitamins, your minerals, or nutrients in general. Okay, like your proteins and even good fats, and also your main source of energy, which is your carbohydrate. So when you consume nutrient dense food, you actually get to actually increase your metabolism as well as also meet your nutrient needs. Okay, why it's very important to increase our metabolism is basically to ensure our body burns our calories at a faster rate, so that our body doesn't store all of this energy in our body, which can eventually also lead on to weight gain. And when we have obesity, it is usually associated with every other sort of heart diseases. Okay, so to avoid that, that is why we want to ensure we are eating healthily for our good health. Okay, so firstly, I would like to introduce y'all how y'all can actually introduce to y'all this concept of having meat, fish, or tofu in every meal. Okay, so basically these are items that are actually high in protein. And why protein is very, very important for our body is basically to build and repair our body. Okay, our bodily cells. And if those of you who are not sure, not aware, proteins are usually built from amino acids. Okay, these are very, very crucial for our brain development as well. So when our overall bodily cells are repaired and built at a good rate, we are also able to maintain good physical functionality. Okay, this includes even your muscle building. Okay, and when we have more proteins in our diet, we also tend to reduce the effects of muscle loss. Okay, and also proteins will also help with healing. So when I talk about healing, it refers to any sort of infections, or when you fall sick, proteins are also good sources of food that will actually allow you to recover faster. All right. And when I talk about proteins, right, how much should you consume? Okay, so of course, the recommended amount would be to have about 3 servings of meat and others, which are rich in proteins, every single day. So when we talk about 3 servings, we want to look at what does a single serving look like. Okay, so a very easy reference that I would like to actually introduce to you all would be to take your fist, okay, your hand, and the your palm size is equivalent to the amount of lean meat or fish or poultry that you should be consuming. Okay, so when we talk about 1 serving, you don't have to go and physically measure it, okay, to see whether it's 90 grams or 70 grams. You don't have to do that, but you can take a simple reference using your hand to see whether you're consuming sufficient amounts of protein. Okay, so that is for your meat, fish, and poultry. And like what I mentioned earlier, your proteins are not just limited to these sources, but also other sources like your milk. So if you're going for milk, you might want to go for low-fat milk, and you can consume about 2 glasses of milk, which is about 500 ml. So 1 glass is about 200 to 250. Okay, so you can consume 2 glasses to actually meet 1 serving of your protein needs. And for those of you who are vegetarians or vegans, you can't eat like fish or meat, right? So you might want to go for other protein sources like your tofu, or even tempeh or edamame, which is a sort of soybean as well. Okay, and when we are looking at other sorts of protein, but common types of food would be like your eggs. Okay, so 1 serving of eggs would be about 3 eggs. Okay, and for your proteins, it also includes your beans, your lentils, and pulses. Okay, like your kidney beans and the different types of grains as well. So like your green beans, even your red beans, all of these will fall under such category. Okay, so you can take this as a reference. Okay, if you would like, you can also take a screenshot. Okay, and at the end of the session, if you require me to flash any slides again, you can let me know, and I will actually flash the slides. All right, and just for you to take note, all of the weights that's actually stated in the slide is for edible portions only. So what do I mean is, for example, if you're taking your fish, okay, it only refers to the edible portion. That means it excludes your bones, your fish bones, or even your chicken bones. Okay, so if you're referring to, for example, here we are referring to 90 grams of fish, it excludes your chicken bones or even your fish bones. All right, and since I've mentioned about some sources of proteins, I would like to hear from y'all. Okay, so let's look at certain types of breakfast we have in our daily life. Okay, so one such common breakfast option would be our oats, and some of them actually add oats, have oats, and they add other sweeteners like water with condensed milk, okay, to make it more sweet, because usually oats is very bland, right? Okay, so instead of adding condensed milk, I would like to hear from you, how can we swap for a healthier alternative by including proteins as well? Anyone can drop your answers. So we can maintain oats, but instead of condensed milk, which is usually high in sugar, what other option can we swap with it to actually include proteins? Non-sweet soybean milk. Thank you, Viv. Yes. Okay, soybean milk. So your plant-based milk, they're very, very high in calcium as well as your proteins. Yes, thank you. Any other sources of proteins that you can add besides milk? So we've mentioned that you can replace condensed milk with non-sweetened soybean milk. Okay, and if you would like to have some sort of sweetness, what other items can you add besides just milk? Anyone? If you're shy to post your responses in the chat box, you can direct message me as well, no worries. And I will help you read out the answers. Fruits and honey, yeah. Okay, yeah, a lot of fruits are also high in good proteins, but usually mostly vitamins and minerals. Okay, and yeah, honey, you can use it about 1 tablespoon to tablespoon. Okay, much natural, yes. Nuts, yes. Thank you so much, Chang April. Yes, nuts are very good sources of proteins. Okay, be it your cashew nuts, your peanuts, your almonds. Okay, all of those are actually very good sources of proteins. But yes, almond nut. Yes, thank you, Teh Boon Wo. Yes. Okay, so when you're just a quick tip for you guys, when y'all are looking at nuts or even dried fruits. Okay, you might want to, for nuts, you might want to go for those unsalted ones, and for dried fruits, you might want to go for those with unsweetened or no sugar added. Okay, this is just a quick tip. Okay, so besides just milk, okay, soybean milk or unsweetened milk or fruits and honey and nuts, thank you everyone for your responses. Okay, we can also add other items like your yogurt. Okay, yogurts are also very good probiotics. Okay, it's very good for your gut health, as well as it also gives you that creamy taste, and certain types of yogurts are also sweet. Okay, so of course, I mean, best would be to go for those no sugar added ones and unflavored ones. Okay, so I have a quick question. Why is natural yogurt, which is unflavored, better than flavored yogurt? Anyone have any idea? Why is a normal plain yogurt better than a flavored yogurt? For example, like a strawberry yogurt or blueberry yogurt. Anyone have any idea? Anyone? Sugar content sugar content is high for flavored yogurts. Yes, exactly. Okay, yeah. So thanks Viv. Like she put it simply, to say that yes, sugar content is actually high for flavored yogurt. So usually if you notice a flavored yogurts, for example, strawberry or blueberry or any sort of flavored yogurts, well, if you look at the ingredients list, they actually tend to have, like, for example, if it's a strawberry yogurt, they will usually add strawberry syrup. Okay, so usually these are certain ways that you can recognize whether sugar is added or not. All right, okay, so that is why if you would like to go for a flavored yogurt, instead you might want to go for plain yogurt and then you add fresh fruits or frozen fruits. Okay, so that is for this. Next, let's look at another breakfast. Okay, we have a jam or butter toast. Okay, instead of butter or jam, how can we introduce protein to this? Anyone? Peanut butter, yeah, okay. Peanut butter, yes. So if you're someone who loves peanut butter, yes, you can of course include that. Peanut butters are very good, high in proteins as well. Just something for you to take note. Again, those no sugar added or less sugar added as well. Okay, eggs and avocado spread. Yes, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's a very good one. So another way you can actually incorporate protein into this breakfast idea would be with your eggs. Okay, with avocado spread. Okay, these are all very good sources of proteins as well. Okay, so thank you, Surisha, and thank you, Viv. Okay, let's look at the next one. I think this is a very common breakfast, right? Fried bihun, our economic bihun. Okay, so how can we fit this into my healthy plate? By including proteins. Anyone? So instead of eating just plain fried bihun, tofu. Thank you, Sirisha. Yeah, tofu. Okay, you can add tofu into it. How about other sorts of proteins? Anyone? Besides your tofu, your tempeh, what other things can you add into this to ensure it has some sort of proteins? Because we look at the picture and it's just fried bihun, right? Full of carbs, right? And a lot of oil that is used to prepare it. So we want to balance it out with proteins. Chicken, yes. Okay, thank you so much. So you can go for chicken, or you can even go for fish. Okay, and for vegetables, if possible, yeah. Thank you. Eggs as well. Yeah, many of y'all have said eggs. Thank you. So you can also add all of this inside your fried bihun. Okay. And also if you're going for eggs, you can maybe go for those sunny side ups. Okay, instead of the deep fried ones. And also when you're consuming this, because you have a choice to choose all the different um vegetables and dishes, right? Side dishes. So I saw one of y'all mention about taugeh. Yes. Okay. So don't forget to incorporate your vegetables as well. So usually they will have the a la carte options like cabbage, even sometimes lady's finger, broccoli. So you can add all of this in as well. Okay. So you can always eat out. Okay. If you happen to have a busy schedule, you can always eat out, but just ensure you find the opportunity to incorporate my healthy plate into your regular hawker center foods as well. All right. And then next we have a porridge with pickled or salted vegetables. Okay, what other things can we add to this porridge instead of pickled or salted vegetables, which is usually high in sodium, right? Yeah. So what can we actually add? A source of protein. Fish porridge. Yes, you can go for fish porridge. Yes. So that's a very good one. Okay, if you're someone who prefers to have porridge in the morning, yes, you can go for fish porridge. Pumpkin porridge, yes. Okay. So pumpkins are usually a bit slightly higher in carbohydrates, right? So maybe another source of protein, a very good source of protein would be chicken, okay? Or even eggs as well. Okay, if you would like to not have too much, you can actually go for eggs, or even other sorts of vegetables as well instead of salted vegetables. All right. So next we have lunch and dinner options. Okay, sometimes most of us tend to eat out, right, during our working hours. So we might go for fried rice or even economic rice, okay, or any other sorts of food that you see at hawker center. So how can we make this fried rice or even any sort of like even chicken rice to fit into my healthy plate by introducing protein? Anyone? Soupy food like yong tau fu, yes. Okay, so when you're going for soupy food, how do you add in proteins? Soups and salads. Okay, but how do you add proteins to your soups or your salad or even yong tau fu? Chicken breast. Okay. Anything else? Yong tofu is a very interesting one. What other items can you add? Non-fried tofu, yes. Okay, so when y'all are going for yong tofu, y'all can actually go for the non-fried options as well. But of course, if you're going for chicken breast, you can also do that, okay, if you're eating other dishes. But just for y'all to take note, okay, I'm not here to tell y'all, oh, y'all shouldn't eat deep fried food at all, or y'all should be eating chicken breast every single day. No, that's not what I'm here for. But you can always go for other types of chicken parts as well, like your chicken thigh or your drumstick, your wing as well. But just remember to remove any sort of visible fats, okay, which is referring to the chicken's skin. Okay, usually the chicken skin comes with most of the fats beneath their skin. Okay, so it's good to always remove it, so that way you don't have to always eat chicken breast. Okay, you can also eat other types of chicken parts like the chicken thigh. Okay, and for deep fried food, okay, it's recommended to, if you would like to eat for example a deep fried chicken or a deep fried tofu, anything of that sort, you might want to limit it to about maybe once a week. Okay, and not too much than that. Okay, so most importantly, don't deprive yourself from what you're craving for, because it is proven that when you deprive yourself, you tend to overeat. Okay, so that will actually affect your moderation as well. Okay, so that is something for you to take note of. So thank you everyone for your responses. Okay, so that is for food. So what about beverages? Okay, how many of us actually start our day with coffee or tea, or we cannot function without coffee or tea? How many of us here needs to have our cup of coffee, tea, Milo? Anyone? Yes? Yes. Yeah, I can't live without my coffee. Okay. Yeah. So many of us actually, tend to have our coffee or tea in the morning, right? Okay. So when we actually consume such coffee, I have on me, I drink coffee without milk or sugar. That's good. So coffee kosong, black coffee kosong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So after drinking water, what is this? It's nuts. Oh, sorry, Sirisha. So you mean you drink coffee or tea after drinking water? Is it? If I get you right? Is that what you're referring to? Some of you say Chinese tea. First water. Okay, teh si kosong. Okay, yeah. So all of us need to consume one way or another. Need to consume our coffee or tea. Okay, Sirisha, I hear you. So you actually consume water first and then second coffee. Okay, yeah. So I mean, of course, we all know the best beverage in the world is water, right? Okay, but when you all if you all are going for your Milo, your Ovaltine, Horlicks, or even any sort of coffee and tea which comes with a lot of condensed milk, like what some of you all mentioned, yes, you can go for black coffee. Okay, kosong. Okay, teh si kosong also can. Okay, just remember that it's the best is always water, but if you need to have this, you can always go for less sugar or even no sugar at all. Okay, so that would be the best. Okay, so thank you everyone for your responses. Okay, so that is for your beverages. So moving on, that's for proteins. I would like to touch on calcium. Okay, so it's very, very important when we talk about be it even Milo sources or milk sources, we can go for those that is actually higher in calcium. Okay, this is very important, especially as all of us age. Okay, because the inadequate amount of calcium in our body can actually eventually lead to other types of conditions like osteoporosis, which is how brittle your bones get, or even sometimes osteoarthritis. Okay, because of calcium deficiencies in your body, you can have joint related issues as well. Okay, so to avoid all of this, we want to incorporate calcium into our diet so that we can actually even build and maintain our bones, especially for us who get older. We won't be able to build it, so we want to maintain the strength of our bones. So this will also, in addition to just maintaining our bone strength, it also helps to build our other parts of our body, like our muscles and also even our nerves. Okay, our chemical signals going around our body, our nervous system, okay, also requires calcium. All right, so and I see full cream milk is a good source, right? Okay, so what do y'all think? Do y'all think full cream milk is a good source of calcium? Anyone? Do you think full cream milk is a good source of calcium? No. Okay, so yes, milk is a good source of calcium, but when we are talking about full cream or low fat, okay, full cream usually means it is high in fat. So when we are looking at calcium absorption in our body, we also want to go for low fat options. Okay, so of course, if you are consuming milk, that's great for your calcium intake, but when you're opting for milk, it's always good to go for low fat milk. Okay, full cream milk is applicable for children about 18 months to 2 years old. If you have children at home, okay, toddlers at home, if they're 18 months to 2 years old, yes, you can give them full cream milk. But as long as they're 3 years old and above, okay, like us, older adults as well, it's always recommended to go for low fat milk. Okay, the reason being, it's very simple. It's because we have started eating more, so our body tends to get fat from all different sources. Okay, so that is the main reason. Whereas for 18 months to 2 years old, they don't really eat much. So that is why you can actually give them full cream milk. Okay. For your information, low-fat milk has higher sugar than full cream milk. Okay, so that is why when you're buying milk, any sort of milk, be it animal milk or mostly plant-based milk, okay, go for low-fat milk with no added sugar or low sugar. Okay, so that is where later I'll be introducing you all to this concept of healthier choice symbol, which you can use as a reference to choose the best type of milk or which is healthier for your body. All right. Okay, so that's for calcium. And when we talk about calcium, our daily requirements, as long as we are 51 years old and above, okay, as adults in general, we actually require about 1000 mg of calcium. So how can we actually split this amount, daily requirement, throughout our different meals? Okay, so here's an example that you can refer to. So assuming 1 star equals to 100 mg of calcium. Okay, so we want to attain 10 stars in a day, right? So that would be about 1000 mg of calcium. So this can be split. Firstly, for your breakfast, you can have 1 glass of high calcium of low-fat milk, okay, which is about 250 ml, and that is about already about 500 mg of calcium, because you can see there's 5 stars, right? Okay, maybe let me just pull out my laser so you guys can see. Okay, so this is about 5 stars. And for your lunch, okay, whatever sort of be you have rice or you have bihun, even some of us prefer sandwich. Okay, we want to include proteins as well as proteins that are rich in calcium. For example, tau kwa. Okay, so if you're including tau kwa or even vegetables like your chai sim, so this will be at least about 150 and 150, so that is already about 300 mg. Okay, and then for your dinner, whatever you eat, be it rice or bihun, again, you can also include other types of vegetables like your kailan, okay, even your bok choy, and all of these will be about 200 mg of calcium. Okay, this is just a simple guide for you guys. All right. And when we are looking at other sorts of high calcium food sources, would be your soybean milk. Okay, if you're someone who cannot drink, you're lactose intolerant, you cannot drink animal products, then this you can go for plant-based products like your soybean milk. So even 1 glass of soybean milk with your healthier choice symbol, which what I mentioned earlier, it can be low in fat and lower in sugar. That will also give you the same amount of calcium, which is about 500 mg. All right. And for your dried ikan bilis, non-fried ones, so that if you consume 2 tablespoons of your non-fried dried ikan bilis, okay, non-deep fried, you will also be able to obtain your calcium, which is about 250. Okay, so half star just refers to half of 100 mg, so that's about 50. Okay, so this is about 250. Okay, and also other sorts of calcium you can get would be your sardines, okay, your tuna. All of these are good sources of proteins and calcium as well. So if you are consuming such canned products, you might want to go for high calcium products like this. Okay, and then for other sorts of calcium rich products besides like kailan, which I already mentioned, you can also go for low fat cheese and your low fat yogurt. Okay, these are also about 200 mg of calcium. All right. Okay, and then other sorts for you all to take note besides tau kwa, like what I mentioned, edamame. Okay, you can also include edamame into your food sources, your daily diet, and that will also give you this 150 amount of calcium. Okay. And same for your almonds. Okay, we mentioned about almonds just now. So if you have about a quarter cup of almonds, that is already about 100 mg of calcium. So even if you have a snacking habit, okay, you can actually snack on healthier food choices. As long as they are below 200 kilocalories is good, it will be considered as a snack. Okay, so you can consume about 1 quarter cup of almonds. So that will also give you the daily requirement of calcium. Okay, so besides calcium, okay, I would like to introduce you all to vitamin D. So vitamin D and calcium are like partners. Okay, without calcium, vitamin D cannot function, and without vitamin D, calcium will not be able to function at optimum level. Okay, so vitamin D is very, very important for calcium absorption in our body. So one way which you can get vitamin D, like all of us know, is definitely expose yourself to sun every single day, about 15 minutes to 30 minutes. But just one thing for you to take note, to avoid this time period of 10:30 to 3:30 p.m. because it's usually very hot, and the UV radiation is very high, so we don't want to put ourselves at the risk of any sort of skin conditions like skin cancer. Okay, so recommended would be 15 to 30 minutes, avoiding the stated time period. Okay, so moving on, we have third tip would be to fill yourselves with whole grains, which also includes your fruits and vegetables. Okay, why whole grains and fruits and vegetables? Because as we all know, these are actually rich in vitamins and minerals, and these for example, your fruits and vegetables, they come with a lot of phytochemicals, which actually help to strengthen our immune system as well, okay? Because all of these acts as antioxidants. So some examples of antioxidant-rich fruits would be like your berries, okay? Your raspberry, your blueberry, your blackberries, okay? You can consume all such berries to increase the level of antioxidants in your body, okay? And also when you consume whole grains and fruits and vegetables, you will be able to protect yourself against any sort of diseases, all right? Because your immunity will be also strong. Okay, so when we talk about whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, we have two categories, which is soluble fibers and insoluble fibers. Okay, so soluble fibers can refer to items like your barley, okay, and for insoluble fibers would be usually mostly your fruits and vegetables. Okay, so for soluble fibers, they will actually help to lower down your blood cholesterol level. Okay, so these fibers will attach to your blood, and this will, when it binds to your cholesterol in your body, it will actually tend to lower your blood cholesterol. And also for insoluble fibers, it will help with our daily bowel movement. So it will promote healthy bowel movement. You will tend to not have constipation issues. So that is why we actually tell you all to consume more fruits and vegetables. Okay, what are some examples of fruits that you actually tend to when you have constipation issues? Anyone? Very popular ones, very popular option. What are some examples of fruits and vegetables? Papaya, yeah. Prunes, yeah. Prunes, banana. Yeah, banana, papaya, prunes, yeah, okay? So you for prunes, you can either go for the fresh prunes or even the dried ones, or even certain juices that is 100% prune juice. Like it doesn't have any sugar added, okay? And same for dried prunes, you can go for those with low sugar added, okay? Or best would be no sugar added at all, okay? So same thing for fruits, okay? You can also take a very, very easy reference would be to hold a fist, okay, and you turn, okay? So the back of your hand refers to one serving of fruits, okay? So any fruits you take, be it apples, watermelon, even papaya or pineapple, you can refer to this as a reference, your back of your fist, as one serving, all right? And if you're someone who prefers pure fruit juice, you can also go for that, but just ensure you consume about 1 glass of it. Okay, I have a question for you guys. Okay, although here it's stated you can have fruit juices to meet one serving of your fruit intake, right? Why is your fresh fruit always better than any sorts of fruit juices? Any idea why? If you would like, you can also unmute to speak. Okay, no worries. Yeah, okay. Processed, okay, processed. I'm assuming you are talking about processed fruit juices that is sold out at the market, okay? Fiber, okay, yeah. So the thing here is about fiber. So if you notice, when we actually blend our fruits into to get the fruit juices, we actually tend to have a whole chunk of items stuck in our machine. So that is actually our fruit fiber. Okay, so we want to retain this fiber because these insoluble fibers are which that's gonna help us promote our healthy bowel movement. Okay, so as for processed fruit juices that is sold out in the market, okay, assuming that you're not freshly blending it, yes, those usually comes with a lot of sugar and also goes through a lot of processing, which means it kind of lacks its original nutrient density. Okay, or even sometimes it has more sugar. So that is why it's always good, if you would like to have fruit juice, it's good to blend it by yourself and not really add any additional sugar. Okay, but if you really cannot, you got no time, like you tell me, Vina, I've got no time to make my own fruit juice, yes, you can buy your fruit juices from the grocery store, but just go for those with no added sugar. Okay, there's a lot out in the market that comes with no added sugar. Okay, and as for your vegetables, this is also some reference that you can take. So for cooked vegetables, fill at least a quarter of your round plate with your cooked vegetables, and then another half would be your fruits. Okay, so half of the quarter. So just now I mentioned half of your plate is fruits and vegetables, right? So in that half itself, a quarter should be your vegetables, and then another quarter should be your fruits. All right. So this is just something for you guys to take note of for other sorts of vegetables, like your raw leafy vegetables. For example, your lettuce or your kale that you include in your salads. Okay, so you can consume about 150 grams of such raw leafy vegetables to obtain your 1 serving of vegetables. Okay, so that's for your fruits and vegetables. And for whole grains, okay, we want to include that in our diet, as we know they are also, rich in insoluble fibers, and most of it, like your barley, your grains, other types of grains, whole grains, comes with your soluble fiber. Okay, one way you can actually include this would be if you're someone who eats white rice, you would like to slowly start introducing whole grains to your diet. You can mix your white rice with at least 20% of brown rice. Okay, or if not, you can do 1:1 ratio, so you can put 1 cup of brown rice to 1 cup of white rice. Okay, if you notice, I don't tell you to, oh, you should entirely start eating completely brown rice. No, okay, you might want to start slow. Okay, at least you start somewhere and you incorporate whole grains into your diet. Okay, and also if you're consuming soups or stews, you can add grains like your barley, or even sometimes some people prefer quinoa as well. Okay, they can add that into your diet as well. Yeah, no issues as well. Okay, and for your bread, okay, for your breakfast or even for your snack time, you might want to incorporate wholemeal bread. They are very high in they are whole grains. Okay, so the main difference between whole grains and wholemeal is, I have someone who just asked the question. Okay, the main difference between whole grains and wholemeal is just the fine version. Okay, it has been fined, so it's whole grains that has been fined, so that is why it's called wholemeal. Okay, that's the main difference, but it retains the same amount of nutrients like your vitamin B, your dietary fiber. Okay, and if you're someone who dislike wholemeal bread, then you might want to do a half ratio as well. Okay, maybe 1 slice of white bread and 1 slice of wholemeal bread. Okay, and for breakfast, besides just your bread, you might want to consider incorporating oats. Okay, so these are also very good sources of dietary fiber that will help with your bowel movement. All right. And as for fruits and vegetables, you can add vegetables to your meat dishes. So, for example, if you are, having Western, okay, if for example having like a grilled chicken or like a chicken chop, you might want to incorporate vegetables like your broccoli, okay, or even sometimes spinach with mushroom. Okay, you can saute it and add it into your meat dishes, so that it will actually also you ensure you consume your meat dishes but also have your vegetables in your diet. Okay, and you can also use fruit and vegetables in your regular dishes. Okay, fruits can some ways you can also include fruit would be like as simple as incorporating lemon juice. Okay, that is also a fruit. So these are all certain types of natural ways you can enhance your daily meals as well. Okay, and most importantly, you can take note of flavoring your vegetables with herbs and spices to make them more palatable. Okay, especially if you are preparing your meals for your children or your family members, then you might want to take note of this. Okay, next, the fourth thing I would like to introduce would be to lighten up on your salt, okay, which means your sodium intake. So for us, our daily limit of sodium is about 2000 mg. So if you're looking at salt, okay, 1 teaspoon of salt is about 5 grams. Okay, so if you're using 5 grams of salt, which is 1 teaspoon, then you would be actually consuming about 200 mg of sodium itself. Okay, so that is why we encourage you all to be more careful of the amount of sodium you consume. Okay, and when we talk about sodium, we can get this sodium from different avenues, not just our regular table salt. Okay, we can also consume from food which is naturally present. Sodium is naturally present in certain types of food. For example, your meat and your shellfish, and even your dairy products. Okay, and also when you are processing certain types of food, okay, they also have sodium added to them. And when we cook, right, we will add our salt as well. We also add other sodium related products like your dark soya sauce, your light soya sauce, your oyster sauce. So all of these have sodium. Okay, so if you notice in the table here, when we talk about sodium, we are referring to daily limit of sodium, which can be from various food sources as well. Okay, and just for you all to note, when we refer to sodium, we are not referring to just salt. Sodium can be present in every dish, but it does not need to be just salt. Okay. And if you are also at a table eating your meals, you can add sodium to your diet, right? So one way would be like your chili sauce, your tomato sauce. This also comes with sodium. So these are ways that you're actually also adding salt to your food while you're at the table. Okay, so these are certain ways that you can take note of when you want to look at limiting your sodium intake. Okay, so this is just a brief summary of how sodium can look like in the different types of food. So for example, if you're looking at fresh food, maybe one egg has about 70 mg of sodium. Okay, so if you're consuming one egg, you're already consuming 70 mg out of your daily 2000 mg sodium requirement. Okay, and for processed foods, okay, especially like your cheese or even your salted fish, you can look, they vary a lot and they're actually very high in sodium, right? So if you're someone who prefers canned tuna, okay, you can actually go for those canned tuna in water instead of canned tuna in oil. All right. And then for other types of seasonings, like what I mentioned, like your tomato sauce, your chili sauce, they also come with about 57 mg of sodium. Okay, so you can take note of that. Okay, so there is this thing when we talk about sodium, I also want to touch on this called MSG. Okay, so can I just check with y'all, do y'all think MSG is good or bad? Anyone? Do you think MSG is good or bad? MSG.
Huh?
Hi, sorry, I think I have someone who is unmuted. Would appreciate if y'all can mute it because I can hear your conversation. Okay, yeah, okay, so one of y'all mentioned that MSG is not good. Okay, so that's exactly why I'm here, to break the myth. Okay, so MSG is, you can actually use MSG, okay, because MSG, if you look at this table, okay, 1 teaspoon of MSG has about 620 mg of sodium, while 1 teaspoon of the same amount of regular table salt has about 2000 mg of sodium. Okay, so this is something for you to take note. Okay, I know some of us might say, like, the moment we start feeling very thirsty, we say, this food got Ajinomoto added lah, got MSG added, right? But regardless of what type of sodium product you consume, be it your MSG, your salt, even your Himalayan salt, everything is gonna cause you to drink more water, because such sodium products will naturally cause dehydration in your body. Okay, so dehydration is not associated just with MSG, but any sort of sodium related products. Okay, this is something for you to take note. So now you can, with that clarity, you can actually incorporate MSG into your diet, but just ensure how much you use. Okay, this will apply for both your MSG and your regular table salt. All right, so moving on, certain ways, okay, like what I mentioned, include sodium into your diet, but at a limited amount. So how can you do it? Would be, of course, consume foods that are naturally lower in sodium, but in terms of good sodium lah. So for example, your meat and your shellfish, they come with sodium naturally. So when you are preparing these items, you don't have to add too much of salt to that. Okay, and also like what I mentioned about MSG, okay, you can include this monosodium glutamate into your diet, because these are actually natural taste enhancers. Okay, but of course take note of how much you're using. Okay, and if you notice, these MSG usually have this umami flavor. Okay, so they also enhance the taste overall. Okay, and when we talk about naturally seasoning our food, we are also looking at herbs and spices, and also juices. So how can you use your herbs and spices? Herbs and spices refers to like your thyme, your parsley, so you can season them with that. Or for juices, we are referring to like your lime juice, even your orange juice. Okay, so certain ways you can do season your food naturally would be to include, for example, onions. Okay, so onions, when upon heat being applied, it will tend to caramelize. So when it caramelizes, the natural sweetness will be released into your food. Okay, so you can use onions for sweetness when you cook. And for garlic, okay, when you pair it along with your ginger as well as your onions, your flavors are elevated in your food. So you can feel the aroma, right? It fills your entire kitchen when you include garlic and ginger or onions or tomatoes to your diet, to your meal, okay, while you're preparing it. So you can naturally season your food using such items. And for your another way would be your kaffir lime leaf. Okay, so this kaffir lime leaf is usually present in your laksa. Okay, so that is why you can smell, right? Laksa is very aromatic, right? So it's because of your kaffir lime leaves. Okay, and then you also can include other sorts of items like your juices, like your orange juice, your lime juice, your lemon juice, to give a bit of a sweet flavor but also the tangy flavor. Okay. And when we're looking at sodium, we also want to take note about eating out. Okay, so like what I previously mentioned, some of us might be busy, we eat out at hawker center. So while we are also applying my healthy plate concept at hawker center setting, we also want to take note for sodium as well. So when you are buying, for example, chicken chop, or even your chicken rice, or even any sort of food, okay, you can actually ask them for the sauces or gravy to be served separately. So just ensure it's not added to your rice itself. So you can control the amount of sodium that enters your body through such gravies and sauces. Okay, and like what some of you mentioned about soup dishes like your yong tau fu, or even your for example soupy wonton noodle. Okay, you might want to avoid drinking up all the soup in the soup dishes. Any idea why? Why is it recommended to avoid drinking up all the soup in the soup dishes? Anyone? Salt is in it. Yes. Okay. So besides salt, thank you, Teh Bunwa. Yeah. So besides just salt, you notice it comes with a lot of seasonings as well, right? So that is why we want to avoid drinking. Of course, you can drink maybe about a few tablespoons, but not finish up everything. All right. So that is when you're eating out. And when you're shopping for products, okay, I mentioned about my healthier choice symbol just now, okay, healthier choice symbol, which also refers to the HCS. Okay, you might want to buy products that come with HCS. Okay, this indication of HCS printed on the food packaging basically refers to this product being a healthier alternative compared to a similar product. So for example, if you look at white bread versus wholemeal bread, you will definitely see this HCS on a wholemeal bread is to just say this wholemeal bread is so much better than a white bread. Okay, usually the HCS will come with sub-claims like higher in whole grain. So I will show that in a bit. Okay, so when besides just buying products with HCS, you might also want to buy more fresh foods over processed or canned or cured foods like your sausages, your lamb, okay, even like sorry, not lamb, your luncheon meat, your sausages, your bacon. Okay, all of these are all cured food products, which basically just means that sodium has been added to it in other forms like sodium nitrate or any other sort while it is being processed and packed. Okay, so that is why you see all of these processed foods or canned foods, they have long shelf life, right? Because they are preserved in such way using different types of sodium. Okay, so back to healthier choice symbol. When we are shopping for products, some variations that you can look out for would be like what I mentioned. Higher in whole grains would usually be for your whole grain products like your brown rice, your wholemeal bread, even your wholemeal pasta. Okay, lower in sodium is usually indicated in your salt products. Okay, salt products, and high in calcium usually in your dairy products. Okay, so just ensure that even though products are with HCS, no matter what you eat, no matter how healthy it is, it's always good to eat everything in moderation. Okay, this includes products with HCS as well. All right. So as I'm coming to the end of today's session, I would like to just do a quick recap and fill you guys up with whatever I've covered so far. So firstly, just remember to have meat, your proteins, okay, your fish or tofu in every meal, and also include calcium products into your daily diet. and fill your plates with whole grains and fruits and vegetables. So I hope you'll use my healthy plate as a reference guide to practice that and implement it on your daily life. And also lighten up on the salt. Okay, be careful about the amount of salt you use. So I hope with this you will be able to make informed food choices in your daily life, so that you can have a happier you and a healthier you. All right. So I have about 6 minutes. So if any one of you have any questions, you can post your questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. Okay. Ate Munwa mentioned, what about herbal soup? Yeah. Okay. So for herbal soup as well, if you notice, it's not very bland, right? It is still edible, right? It feels like you can still eat it, you can still drink, because there is some sort of seasoning. So no matter what type of soup you eat, as long as it is not freshly prepared by you, but is bought out, then of course, for example, if you're looking at black chicken herbal soup, okay, you might want to consume the chicken and then leave out leave out the soup lah. Don't drink too much of it. Okay, this will apply to any sort of soup that you eat. Okay, unless like the dining partner mentioned to you that, oh, I didn't add any sort of salt or seasonings, which almost very rare, but there are stalls that actually don't add seasonings. I know of them as well. So you can always check with them. Okay. What type of jam for bread would you recommend for a person with high cholesterol? Okay, regardless of what condition you have, okay, high cholesterol, diabetes, any sort, heart disease, anything of that sort, when you're buying fruit jams, okay, jams would be, fruit jams, you can go for those with the HCS, okay? So when it is with the HCS, it means that it has no added sugar. Okay, so if you go out to the grocery shopping, right, there will be two types of jam. One with added sugar, one without sugar. And we are talking about fruit jams. So when we're looking at fruit jams, you can actually easily notice whether a fruit jam has added sugar. How you can see it is, you take a look at the ingredients list. So long as the first or the second ingredient is sugar, which means it's very high in sugar, okay? So even for jams, you can look out for those with HCS, which will come with lower in sugar or no added sugar, okay? Is Milo Khao Kosong healthy to drink? It is definitely much healthy compared to your regular Milo, which comes with no HCS, which is that means it means like it's not lower in sugar. So of course it is much healthier when you compare these two options, but what matters is how many times you consume it in a day, one, and two is how frequently you consume in a week as well. Okay, so if you're someone who consumes any sort of Milo, be it the high calcium Milo or like the Milo Khao Kosong, of course I do not recommend you to drink Milo every single day. Okay, it's always good to incorporate other types of beverages as well. Okay, even oat milk, okay, that would be good as well. All right. For suntan, can I fully cover hands and legs or must be exposed to absorb vitamin D? Oh, you're referring to just now the slide, is it? Of course, you can cover. I mean, best would be to wear, short sleeve. But if you fully cover, then I think you will still be able to absorb it, because it will usually be absorbed this way down, right? The sun is shining down, so it will be absorbed this way down. So yes, you can still wear covered hands and your clothing. Okay, you can fully cover it, and you can also wear your sunscreen. Okay, but just ensure you do not expose yourself too long to the sun, more than anything more than 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, more than covering or protecting yourself with sunscreen, we will be looking at the exposure time. Okay, sufficient exposure for absorption of vitamin D, like what I mentioned, is 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, I like fruits. Can I consume 3 to 4 serving a day instead of 2? Of course, it's good to consume a variety of fruits, okay? But the recommended amount would still be 2 servings, because, okay, I'll let you know why. Because if you consume, like what I mentioned, even HCS products you must eat in moderation, is because if you're consuming too much of the same product, you're going to accumulate the unhealthiness in your body. Meaning to say, okay, if you're consuming fruits like 3 to 4 servings in a single day, then your body is going to have the natural sugars. It's going to be high in natural sugars, right? Your fruits and vegetables, or fruits in particular, they come with a lot of sugar, like your fructose. Okay, so we don't want to accumulate too much of fructose in our body as well. Okay, so if you notice, if you eat too much of fructose, you will tend to actually keep eating more fruits, right? For example, you eat papaya or watermelon. Do you all usually stop at one? You all don't, right? Yeah, because it has natural sugars present in it in the form of fructose. So we don't want to do that, okay? For salt intake, meaning we should not consume more than 1 teaspoon of salt. Yeah. So that is the thing. So that is why you can look at other options when you're preparing your meals. So if you're preparing a meal itself with 1 teaspoon of salt, you're actually already consuming about 2000 mg, which is your daily requirement of sodium. So what you can do instead is you can opt for lower sodium salt. Okay, so the best part about lower sodium salt is the sodium level present in the regular table salt is much lesser. Okay, so this is one way you can take consideration. Yeah, so that is very little. Yeah, so instead of consuming the regular table salt, you might want to go for lower sodium salt. Okay. Is it good to eat one energy bar in the morning for breakfast? Yes, you can eat energy bar because if you do not have time to prepare your breakfast, yes, you can. But just ensure your energy bar is also lower in sugar, because usually your energy bars, if you notice, some of them are actually high in sugar. Okay, so you might want to go for low sugar, high protein energy bars. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I've actually answered all the questions. The time now is 1:31. So if there are no other questions, I would like to just seek your feedback. So please scan this QR code and leave me with your feedback. I would love to hear from you guys. So thank you everyone for asking all the questions, and I hope I clarified them. I think I have one. Most of the oil selling outside did not mention the smoke point. Yes, okay, so when we're talking about smoke point, just a quick tip while you all are filling up this feedback form. For smoke point oils, that means smoke point basically refers to whether you can use this oil for deep frying. Okay, just simple way you can remember is oil like your palm oil, your coconut oil has very high smoking point, which means you can use them for deep frying, but don't use it as a regular cooking oil. Okay, because these are very high in saturated fat as well. Okay, so 1 time 2 time it's fine. But yes, most of the cooking oil do not actually come with a smoking point. So maybe one thing I can leave you with is you can go for low smoking point oils like canola oil, your olive oil, okay, olive oil light, and even some seed oils like your flax seeds oil. Okay, that will be good as well. For pan chicken, not deep fry, what oil is recommended? Like what I mentioned, for pan frying, for light pan frying, okay, you might want to use healthier cooking oils like your canola oil, your olive oil. Okay, just ensure again, same thing when you're buying oils, oil also come with this healthier choice symbol. You can go for those with lower in saturated fat. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone for your questions. Okay, I will be ending the session now. So I hope all of you can leave me with the feedback so that we can improve accordingly. Okay, thank you, Wendy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Okay, have a great day ahead, everyone. Thank you.